Hello, good afternoon and welcome to a new video. And today, what are we talking about?
My street triple.
It's
its birthday. First registered 26th of January 2016. So exactly 8 years old.
Right, so what model is your street triple? It's the base model, isn't it?
Just the base model, yeah, standard street triple.
ABS.
ABS, yeah.
And can you remember roughly what it cost at the time?
I think it was about £7,000. We obviously traded in my purple street triple for it, and I can't remember what we actually paid, but I think it's about £7,000, just over, I think.
Why did you originally buy this bike?
So originally my first bike after passing my test was the purple Triumph Street Triple, which was perfect. I loved it to bits. It was the previous model to this, it was the 2012 model.
You picked out that colour, didn't you?
Oh yeah, even before I passed my test I'd chosen that bike.
It was an imperial purple, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. They only made that colour for 1 year. But yeah, I loved that bike. That was my first bike. But it didn't have the ABS, and that was the key. I dropped the bike and...
Well, it was a slow crash, wasn't it?
Slow crash. I was probably only doing 15, 20 mile an hour.
Car came and overtook a line of cars on your side of the road, forcing you to stop.
Yeah.
You grabbed a handful of brake and
just went down
locked the
really
front wheel
quickly,
up on a manhole and went down.
Which is what made us think, actually, we would be better with ABS. It's the only real sort of electronic assistance that we really appreciate, I think, and I wouldn't buy a bike without it now. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I mean, I had it for 4 years, so, you know, that's normal for a lot of people.
I think you put about 20,000 miles on that?
Yeah, probably. We've gone quite a lot. We've done Scotland,
you rode it
and
to
the Alps, haven't we? So, yeah, so we've done quite a lot of mileage on it anyway. But yeah, so that's why we had this one. We've now had it 8 years.
But why have you still got it after 8 years?
Because I just still love it. It is so perfect for me. Size-wise, I can sit on it so comfortably all day long.
You can just about flat-foot it, can't you?
Just about flat-foot it. It's lightweight. It's not got...
What is it, about 170, 180 kilograms? It's something like that. It's well under 200 kilograms.
It's not heavy. It's got everything on it that I want. If I had to change this bike, I'd have to change so many things to get it to this specification, I think. Don't know. I
think the other thing for you is the seat's all day comfortable, isn't it?
I can sit on that all day. I think I'm better than you, actually, after a whole day riding. It doesn't bother me at all. I can ride on that all day.
What about your leg position? Some people would think the street triple's an over sporty position.
Not for me though, really, because I'm not particularly tall.
Your legs aren't long, are they?
No, so I'm flat foot like that, and that's just a nice, comfortable, natural position, isn't it?
Whereas I climb on board of it.
You're a bit tight.
Yeah, I think it's too compact for a guy that's 6 foot 3. So,
but for me, it's perfect.
Do you think the longer you keep the bike, the more you think of all the places that you've been on it?
I mean, we have been up Scotland, which is my favourite place. We've been to the Alps on it. We've been to the Picos on it. We're going to go to the Pyrenees this year with it. And they're all memories, aren't they? They're all special places you've been to that you've enjoyed, and the bike's been with you all the way, and it's not let you down, and you feel, you know, a certain sense of thanks to the bike to get you there.
You do, yeah.
You know, you've enjoyed the trip on it, so I think that's quite a big part of it.
And I think you do build up that relationship with the bike, don't you? When you've had it that long, you reminisce of all the fantastic places you've been.
Yeah.
All the sights you've seen.
Part of the story, isn't it, with it?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons. The longer you have a bike,
you're less likely to change it because it becomes part of you, doesn't it?
So, how reliable has the bike been?
Cannot fault it at all. It's not let me down ever so far. Touch wood. Just there's no wood around here.
Because I mean, it's still got the original battery on. It's still got the original everything on it, really, hasn't it?
The only thing that we have had changed is the quick shifter, which was an extra anyway that we had put on.
That down there.
Yeah, that failed I think that failed in the Alps.
That failed while the bike was under warranty.
Yes.
It was in the Alps.
Yeah.
But because we fitted it, or we had
as an extra,
the dealer fitted as an extra,
yeah, they wouldn't
cover it.
So it
led to a little bit of acrimony with Pidcock, didn't
That's
it?
kind of what we fell out with Pidcock's on the servicing side. I mean, the sales side, no question, they're good. But the servicing side, they said they'd fixed it. They had it back in. So, oh yeah, we fixed that. I thought, great. So you went and picked it up, rode it back, and it still wasn't working. And we're like, well, you haven't fixed it then. So we took it back, and they said, oh, well, you'll need a new one then. So that's fine. But
you knocked me off the price you've just charged me for fixing
it that you haven't done, and they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't. So
that was when we went to different dealers.
Well, they lost our business just over that, didn't they?
Really, because it was a bit silly, really, because she was saying she'd fixed it, and she clearly hadn't. She obviously hadn't ridden it to try if she'd fixed it, because it still didn't work. So it was a bit strange. So we gave up with them, really, then, unfortunately. After having many bikes from them, which is a bit unfortunate, we went to Staffordshire Triumph. They were quite happy to fix it, but it was a long way for us.
It was a long ride, yeah.
But they were very helpful and understood the issues. But we ended up going to Sutton's, because Sutton's had just started being a Triumph dealer at that point, and they're
actually our closest now,
and they're closest now, and we go there ever since. And they've been very good to service the bike, look after it, and we've got no real issues with them. So
I mean, that brings around to the next question: how have you found it as far as servicing costs?
It's difficult for me to compare because I've only had Triumphs. We were talking, it went in for a service last week, and that cost me £300. Now, they were saying it should have had its valve service at that point, and that would have cost me getting on for £600 with the MOT and everything. But your bike has its valve service every 24,000 miles, whereas the Triumph say you need it every 12,000 miles.
And that
seems a bit excessive,
if you're clocking miles up.
So we decided not to have that done.
We've had it done.
We have had it done once in its life, but I don't know.
I
it seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, Yamaha say every 24,000 miles on their.
So we're kind of meeting in the middle.
Well, on my bike there.
Yeah, we'll probably have it done next service. Next year.
Yeah, I think we will. But the thing you've got to remember is it's like £600 at a Triumph dealer.
Yeah.
To get that done on a bike that's probably worth, I don't know, 3,000 now?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, what sort of mileage have we actually got on it now? Let's just check. I think it's 35. Yeah, 35, 190. We put probably.
Yeah, I mean, if we have the valves done next time, it'll still be done in under 24,000 miles between the valve services.
It'll probably have been done every 20,000 miles, won't it?
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I think that seems reasonable. We don't ride it hard. It's not like I do track work on it.
No, you don't ride it hard.
So I think it'll be fine at that. It's getting cold out.
Cold out here, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Modifications. Shall we talk about the really obvious ones that people are going to think?
I do heater grips on.
Well, no, that wasn't my obvious one.
That's my number one go-to modification.
Yeah, your number one modification.
I would not have a bike without heated grips.
Yeah, and that's the one with it's got the button on the side there, hasn't it?
It has medium, hot, and off, so it's very straightforward.
So it's just got two settings.
Two settings, but it works okay.
It's coolish or warmish, but it doesn't get. Doesn't get mega hot, does it?
They're not. These are the Triumph ones. They're not as hot as the Oxford ones I had on the Purple Street Triple, but they're good enough.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have a bike without those.
What about the actual controls? There's not much to them on this model of bike, is there?
It's really
you've just got your start, stop there. No menus really, have you?
No, not what I go into.
High beam, low beam.
Yeah.
It's a very basic bike, but that in some ways
everything you need though.
That's why you love it.
So other modifications.
Well,
obvious
you've got to talk about the elephant in the room.
My boot. Love my boot.
You do like that, don't you?
I do. I know it looks awful.
A lot of people really.
I know it looks awful, but
don't like.
I do like my boot. It carries so much stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it's such a useful item.
Yeah, it is actually. it doesn't actually come off now. It's actually bolted through the bottom of it because the lock mechanism to bolt it on and off broke, and we just bolted it straight through.
Yeah, and if you followed us for long enough, you'll remember that we had a drama in Scotland, didn't we?
The other one.
That's an SW Motec rear carrier.
Yes.
And a givey box on there, and
where it broke, didn't it? I think it wasn't braced like that. These have got extra bracing.
It wasn't welded where it should have been. And it snapped off.
It snapped off in Scotland. I had to post it back to myself with all my dirty washing in, and we managed without it.
So that was embarrassing. At least it happened in Scotland and not somewhere in
Europe
the Alps or something.
Somewhere. Yeah, that was.
But this one has proved good.
It seems pretty solid. I'll check it again before we load it up for the Pyrenees.
We do recommend the SW Motec.
Yeah, I love their stuff.
Carrier. It bolts on just underneath there. Look.
Yeah, and we did have to adjust the suspension a bit harder because it's got a brace.
We did, yeah. The suspension's a manual adjustment, and we've took it several notches harder.
Because it did just catch on that hugger, didn't it? You can see where it's caught there.
It did just catch the hugger, yeah. But that's mainly because of the extra weight that you carry there. And
me.
I'm not.
What can you say?
I daren't say anything, Carol. I daren't.
Yeah, but the SW Motec stuff is good. We've got the blaze panniers as well, which is what that's for, and that's what that's for. The bars just flick in there, and then
there's two bars, and I could probably find a photo
with it all on.
With it all on, the bars just fit in there, and the bags.
They've been really good.
Fasten over the back seat.
Yeah, they're really good, and we've got the SW Motec tank ring there. It's not the electric one; it's just the standard one, where the tank bag just sits on that really neatly as well, really tidy.
Yeah. So you haven't got any charging ports, though, have you?
No charging ports. If I want to charge, I'll have to use a block.
But your sat nav there, that's another modification which fits onto the top yoke, and that is powered up.
That is powered, yes. So only works with the ignition and everything, so it goes.
And that's not a fancy sat nav, is it? It's a Garmin 660.
Yeah,
it's old tech. In fact, that was on your old bike, so it's at least 10-year-old tech.
Yeah, but so useful. Love it.
But it's not super. The display's not super bright. But the main thing,
it's just reliable. I mean, even in the heat in the Alps. I mean, the cameras kept giving up, but the sat nav didn't, did it?
Yeah, 40 odd degrees of heat. Everything else failed, but the sat nav kept going.
The phones were struggling, the cameras were struggling, but the sat nav just kept going. So I'm loath to change that really, because while it still works.
Yeah, again, it's one of the reasons we hang on to stuff.
Yeah.
While it proves reliable, we keep using it.
Absolutely, yeah.
We keep spending the money on
going on holiday.
Well, that's what it's all about.
I've got a little bit of protection there, given what happened with the last one.
Given what you did to the purple one.
I shouldn't say that. Don't
say you've not crashed it.
It's not been dropped.
You're tempting it.
I know, but it hasn't been.
I think they're GB racing.
And in 8 years, that's pretty good going, isn't it? The only modification we should have is probably the radiator cover, and we haven't got one.
No, that is something.
We never fitted one.
Maybe we should do that before we do the Alps.
Pyrenees.
Maybe. Yeah, sorry, Pyrenees.
Yeah.
Maybe a
cover for that.
I think we ought to look at that. One of the other things you quite like about this bike is its range as well. Don't you? And it's kind of one of the things that you don't like about the new Street Triple. They've reduced the tank size.
I think it's gone down 2 litres, 2.5 litres,
I think.
Like that. So yeah, this one does. I would say, well, not that I ever do because I always ride with you, but I would say this bike will do about 175 miles on a tank full.
Especially the way you ride it, which is
whereas
quite nice
we
and
always stop at about 110 miles because of that thing.
Yeah.
So
one modification we've not mentioned.
What's that?
The rear mudguard.
Of course, yes, that is very important. I know it looks hideous, but when I had this bike for the first day out on it, I got sludged up. If you imagine it, without that, and without the top box, obviously.
Without the top box and without the carrier, all that
comes straight
spray
up onto your back.
It does.
It's a crazy design.
And the very first day you picked it up,
just got sludged up right up my back.
And that is a common tale on lots of bikes.
I mean, the previous model was lovely because the previous model had 2 exhausts that came out here.
Yeah.
And they took all the muck. So that's why I was a bit shocked when I got this one. Obviously, the exhaust is down there. There was just no protection at the back there. So that is actually a Triumph part which you managed to source for me.
Yeah, but it's not a UK Triumph part.
No.
That item was fitted to this model of bike in some Asian countries.
Yeah.
And a dealer managed to get that for me.
But,
and it is made
and you managed to fit it. It's obviously a little bit complicated because all your indicators, everything are built in. But it's nice and it's
well worth having if you can put up with the looks. We know it's not a good looking thing, but it served the purpose.
Definitely. And looking at that new Daytona, they've got that nice little flap
we were
at the
looking
back.
at the Daytona
and I wonder
660, weren't we?
If you did have the new street triple, would that fit on that perhaps?
Yeah, they've got a little bit that goes over the stem there. So Triumph must be aware of the problem.
Maybe they are aware it's an issue.
You know, we've already, I think, established you're not going to change it unless
I have no intention of changing it
unless
something goes wrong. Obviously, I love having a reliable bike. I don't want to be, messing about with taking it to the garage, everything. And it's bad enough just taking it for a service. So if it ever let me down, then I would get annoyed with it and I'd have to move on, I suppose, onto something else. And I don't know what I would have. I'd probably look at, obviously, the 765 version.
Which one of those do you like? Do you like the R or the RS?
I like the R. Is the R the one that's got the yellow one?
The RS is the yellow
one. I do love that mustardy coloured paint. So I'd have to try it. I don't think the seat's as comfy as this one, though.
Yeah.
It's a bit firmer, but I suppose you get used to it.
If it wasn't going to be a Triumph, are there any other bikes that you really quite like the look of?
Well, when we've gone to Tenerife, I've had the Ducati Monster. Quite enjoyed that.
And you sat on the Monster at the bike show, didn't you?
Yeah, I quite like that. And it's very similar in lots of ways. It's a similar feel, similar bar heights, and so I quite like that. And it's nice and compact.
It's built for smaller people, I think.
Or go for something retro. That Kawasaki 900 I quite like.
What, the one that Flat Cat's got in America?
Nice.
Oh, it's beautiful,
quite
isn't
nice. The Triumph Speed Twin.
Yeah.
That's quite nice looking. They do some gorgeous colours in that as well. So I'd have to look. But it stays reliable, I'm keeping it.
So what do you think the biggest downside about touring on? Because that's what we do, isn't it? Touring.
We do. Well,
touring on what isn't a touring bike,
up to now, our so-called touring has been we ride to somewhere, we stay there for the week,
and we
do little rides out, and we don't take the luggage. This Pyrenees trip, I think, is going to be a tester for us because
we're moving on every day.
And we've never ever done that before.
Yeah.
I've planned it all out. I've booked all the hotels and everything now, but I'm thinking we've got to take this soft luggage off every night, put it back on every morning, and that could be a bit of a pain. Yeah. So we'll see how we get on with that.
So a bike with hard luggage that you can get your inner bags out.
Yeah, just leave the hard luggage on there.
Because what you've got to remember is if you're riding
and it's wet,
those soft bags that you're going to take into your nice posh hotel room.
We have took them off before now and shoved them straight in the bath, haven't we?
Or in the shower cubicle.
In the shower cubicle, because there's nowhere to put them down in the hotel room, and
they're covered in mud.
And you just hose them down, don't you, with the shower? Because
with your clothes in.
Because you've got to.
You can't get your clothes out of them.
They're filthy. So hard luggage would be the only thing. And I know you don't like screens, but I'd probably try a bike with a screen. Just to give you that protection.
I don't like screens.
You don't like them, but I'm shorter than you, so that might be something I could consider. And perhaps handguards would be nice. But But at the moment, I know it's a slight compromise when the weather's naff and that, but when the weather's great, you can't beat this.
So all round, she's still a keeper.
Still a keeper, yeah. Yeah.
Well, she still looks pretty good, Carol.
I think so. I think she's been well looked after. I think considering
it's not the cleanest.
8 years old, it's not doing too bad.
But there's nothing dented.
No.
Nothing badly scraped. I think the worst scrape is where we've had the...
That's where the panniers go, they rub. We tend to put a plaster on or a bit of tape now when we put them on, but the first time we used them, we didn't realise.
We didn't, no.
And it rubbed a bit.
Right, so that's the 8 years with the Triumph Street Triple.
8 years, 35,000 miles, all of them good.
They have. Yeah. Right. We're going to put the bikes back in the garage because it's freezing.
Get warm. Yeah, we're not going for a ride now, it's freezing.
So, thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. And hopefully on the next one, we've got something a little bit special coming.
A bit warmer.
A bit warmer.